I'm Hannah Moore, CFP, a practicing financial planner and educator. I'm on a mission to change the way people think and talk about money. Let's get started. So today I want to talk about some things that I commonly hear from financial planners that drive me crazy. So we do a lot of teaching and educating other financial planners on how to be financial planners. So the first one is when financial planners say something along the lines of, my clients just don't get it. And every time I hear this, I just want to say the problem isn't them. It is you. When clients come to a financial planner, it's because they know that they need help. They know that perhaps they don't think in the same way. They don't think in terms of numbers and spreadsheets and projections that financial planners usually think in terms of. They know that they have a problem and that they're trying to meet their problem. And when financial planners explain things and you don't get it, clients don't get it, it's completely natural, and it is not the client's fault. I put this back on the financial planners, as it is their job to make sure that the clients understand. So if you're talking to a financial planner and you're like, hang on, I'm not understanding what's actually happening here, don't worry. The problem isn't you. The problem is actually the financial planner and how they're communicating and what they're communicating to you. Perhaps they need to figure out how to simplify their message. Perhaps they need to be thinking about what it is that they can do to help you understand it. I know I've certainly done this in the past, and my clients have shown me that there's more that I need to be learning and I need to be stretching myself. And so if you don't understand what your financial planner is saying, it's not you, it's them. Okay, so the second thing that drives me crazy about financial planners, especially as they're getting started, is that there is this assumption that financial plans don't change, right? Now, you and I both know our lives change constantly. I think of where I was 5 years ago. I think of where I was even a year ago. And so much of my life has changed, certainly from babies to career to just what do I want in life? These are all moving targets. You know, we build a financial plan for clients, and oftentimes this is going to change rapidly over time. And so one of the mistakes that I see financial planners make is that they don't assume their clients' lives are going to change. They assume it's going to be static and get frustrated when it's not. So if you're listening to this and you're like, wait a minute, like the goals that I went in to create this financial plan, they were one thing and they were very true then. And things change. Maybe you got a promotion at work. Maybe you switched careers altogether. I don't know what it looks like for you, but I know that financial plans don't stay constant. And so one of the things that drives me crazy about financial planners is when they try to make plans stay the same, because we know that's not really the case. So the third thing that I hear from financial planners drives me crazy is this fear of uncertainty. And, I think it goes beyond financial planners. But we crave certainty. We want to know what the market's going to do. We want to know exactly how much we need to save. We want to know all of these finite things. And so much of when we work within a financial plan and when you're looking at your finances, we're setting ourselves up for what the future may hold. And if there's anything I know about the future, it's that it's uncertain. I look at plans that I made for clients a decade ago, and we're not on track. It looks very different. Now, some are way better. Some are not as high of a numbers, but it's all about building this plan. And it's all about this uncertainty of like our job. Yes, it's to understand the consequences of our decisions, right? I want people to know, like, if you make this tiny tweak right now in your financial life, what's that impact going to look in 20, 30, 40 years from now? But I also want to be setting them up for success and knowing that these tiny tweaks in life are going to change over time. And that's okay. That's actually kind of the point, right? So much of what we do in financial planning, we can get so stuck in the projections instead of looking and stuck at this long-term decision making versus looking at what is the next best decision that we can help our clients make, that we can help you make, right? And I think that uncertainty can be very paralyzing, certainly for everyone involved. But we crave uncertainty, but at the end of the day, everything we do is uncertain. And so how do we build that in? How do we accept that uncertainty and then go and build a financial plan and help our clients, help you navigate through that? So I think that's a very, it's a skill set that people need if they're going to be financial advisors, because you get it. Like you and I think we know that life is uncertain. And so we need to be able to build financial plans that assume for that uncertainty, because otherwise it doesn't feel right. It doesn't fit right. Then we get trapped into these spots where we're trying to do somebody else's financial plan or do the financial plan that I had for myself 5 years ago. Y'all, the financial plan I had 5 years ago for myself is not what we are doing today. And that is a really, really good thing. And I am so grateful that it has changed and evolved. And the uncertainty that we look at, I look at where it'll be 5 years, it'll be probably very different as well. And that's okay. That's a good thing. So the next thing number 4 that I hear from financial planners that just drives me crazy is this idea of hide the tissue box. Now, talking about money can be really emotional. And trust me, I am not trying to get clients to cry in our meetings, but sometimes it does happen because it's so emotional. It touches everything that we do, right? And when I'm talking to financial planners, oftentimes there's this aversion to it. They don't want to be talking about their money. They don't want to be talking about the emotional. They just want to talk about the numbers. But here's the thing. When we start talking about personal finance, it is so much more than numbers. It's about all of the things that you hold most dear. I mean, my gosh, I was thinking about the other day of what are the money values I want my daughters to learn from me. What do I want them when they're 35? What do I want them to be thinking about me? What do I want them to be thinking about their money? And you know what? That strikes a chord with me. That's not just talking about numbers. That is so much more, right? And so when I hear clients talk about hide the tissue box, make sure that you don't talk about emotions, make sure that you don't talk about things that can elicit emotions. I'm like, you're missing the point entirely. It's the emotions that drive our money, whether or not we admit it or not. The emotions 100% drive our financial decisions. And by being able to ask the questions, to go there to say, okay, how does this really fit? How does this really fit with what you want to do? It's incredibly powerful. You're going to get better financial plans. You're going to get better financial decisions. You're going to get decisions that align with what is truly at the core of somebody. And now, again, we're not like a counselor. We're nothing like, it's not like that. But by connecting into these emotions, and not being afraid of when those emotions, like when you connect into something that's deeper than money, because oftentimes financial decisions, yes, it's about the numbers, but oftentimes it is so much more about the numbers. And I will tell you, I keep going back to this. My happiest clients are the ones who know what's enough, but they also are spending money aligned with what's important to them. And that is not necessarily a numbers conversation. That's a values conversation. And that can be just really core to who people are. Okay, so the 5th thing that drives me crazy when I talk to a financial advisor or financial planner is kind of aligned with that. All I do is investments. Okay, let me tell you a quick little story. I was working, I had, early on in my career, I had just worked with, I bought these practices. I was really kind of coming into my own of understanding who I was as a professional, as a financial planner. And I remember going to a client and charging for a financial plan. And it was like a really, really big deal. It was my first times I ever did it. And I was so nervous, y'all. I was so nervous. And I remember pitching them this financial plan. And they sat there and they looked at me and they said, this is what we've been looking for. This is what we've been looking for. And we finally know what to call it now. And it was such a powerful moment for me because I realized that where I was working, kind of what I was doing, so much of it was focused just on investments. I had spent the last 4 years meeting with these clients where we were just looking at the investments. We're looking at how are you invested? What's your investment return? What are the changes that we should be making on that? But by shifting that focus to saying, okay, how do these investments line up with your life? It's a whole different conversation. So when I hear financial advisors say that, I think, okay, that's a financial advisor. That's where what they do focus on investments. But a financial planner is somebody who's going to say, how does your money fit with your life? How is it aligning it and empowering you to do the things that you want to do with your life? Because that's a very, very powerful conversation. That's what I'm in the business of figuring out, how do we make your money fit with your life more so than just how do we maximize your investment dollars? Because yeah, there's so much more to that. And it's more than just, how does this fit with your life? What are your goals? What are your values? It's more than that. There's so much more that goes into your investments. It's your insurance, it's your estate planning, it's all of these different nuances pieces that play into your financial plan, that everything fits together. So we look at your investment piece, that's going to have ripple effects into all these other areas of your financial life. And I would argue that financial planners today have to have an understanding of that, because our clients need it. Our lives are only getting more complex. Our financial lives are only getting more complex. And it's so incredibly important to understand how all these pieces are interconnected, because once you make that understanding and make that connection of how everything is interconnected, you can make better decisions. You're going to be able to make decisions that align not just with your investments, but that align with your taxes and your end goal and all these other pieces that come into play with that. So I know I'm talking a little bit in financial planner speak, but I think you guys get the gist of it, of really the 5 things that drive me crazy when I'm talking with financial planners and working with them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I would be curious, what are the things that you have heard from your financial advisor or financial planner that drive you crazy? Thanks for listening to this episode of Everyday Money with Hannah Moore. If you like what you heard, subscribe and check out livewealthynow.com. We have a lot more resources to help you live wealthy now.